Welcome everyone to another fun video. Looks like we're live. Some people are sending in some stuff on the mailing list, which is certainly pretty amazing. Or T2 Linux mailing list there of P3 and Octane and other fun stuff here. And people trying to build GTK Plus also. Well, for me it builds, of course, for the most part, except maybe cross-compiling previous video. But in this video they mentioned horrible out-of-date libpng 1637, which of course is not amazing. And I actually took a look. So I mean, first of all, you go here. I mean, first of all, like, yeah, I clicked like here, and it's like, wow, such websites still exist. If you wanna have here some time travel back in memory lane for the good old interwebs of the 90s, and then I was like, where's the release? But yeah, of course that is there because now. Anyway, also here, vulnerability warning of 163, whatever. So I was wondering, why the heck is this so outdated in our fine Linux? Turns out I updated this already with svnlog. That's also why I want to source history and such. Of course, I SV unlocked this and stuff, and well, first of all, I broke this. I already fixed this something when we cleaned this up some days ago. But also nice little warning here, like, yeah, don't update to 4 something because it breaks some packages, like the fine. Actually, this is a breakage that I already fixed. But yeah, break some fine packages like xcursor gen and libgd, because whatever. So yeah, so been there, done that, updated this, and yeah, also already a decade ago, update some stuff, break some stuff. Yeah, this we, by the way, broke ourselves here, this compatibility stuff, in terms of, we cleaned this up some live streams ago, where we, with SED or something, transitioned here all this very short conf source codes here in this description format of T2 Linux stuff. I unbroke. So what is broken with this is this was like this in the .conf, and it certainly doesn't work like this in the .desk here with escaped new line of, yeah, so much too. Very rare thing. I fixed this already on the server. As you see, this stuff comes up here. But let's try here. There you see how do I spend my life building a Linux distribution for 20 years, like constantly. I would want to do some other stuff, like anyway, maybe we talk about some stuff while we do this. So I probably just update this to 1.6 whatsoever. Also, I don't even get nightly reminders, recurring theme here, because it's not even on this website. So nightly update tracker, update tracking that, and yeah, nothing to see, because yeah, this is also on SourceForge. Will probably migrated away from that, I guess, probably. So wait a second, here's, by the way, here's already still SourceForge.io. What the heck? SourceForge.io exists. Actually interesting. So yeah, a little bit, yeah, unfortunate. It would have even auto update tracked if it would not be in a subfolder here of this stuff. But yeah, for now we can make this. Also, wait a second, we want to retain this lib. This was probably libpng 16. A little bit unfortunate, the subfolder stuff. I slightly wonder, do we have somewhere? Well, for version 16 we would continue to receive updates. By the way, I hope the audio is fine. I didn't test the audio because so it's a little bit bright. It's a little bit funny. Don't like it that bright. Just made it less bright. I thought it's a little bit dark, but it's a bit too bright now. Yeah, it's a bit, yeah, whatever. Also it blinds me a little bit. Maybe we switch off, yeah, optimizing studio lighting here. Maybe we do it so, and whatever. Not the greatest fan of this lighting, but the other is too bright anyway. Good what you pay for. Anyway, download from, so do they have any? I mean, this is yeah, super old-fashioned site, and yet not even a clear download link. Do they have somewhere direct, no, apparently not the most, whatever. So let's just, does this update track with this? So the issue with that is, it doesn't, not found. DL source port, libpng, probably it's actually libpng 16, I guess. But so the issue with that is actually that this also doesn't update tracker. Why not? Darn it. Let's see what happens if we libpng 1637. So the issue with that is that it actually will most likely cause regressions, and there's also another regression tar. So the issue is that we theoretically have here some automated mirror. What would it be? Would it be DL source voltage? Maybe like that. So the issue is they have their own mirror multiplexing stuff, and if I just copy and paste the URLs on this mirroring stuff will not work anymore. Stupid stuff. But the other issue is a super time consuming issue, and the recurring theme here is that we now need to rebuild all the packages theoretically, because I knew already this was broken. Also another regression is, for you playing along at home, I rebuilt the ISO for people. The P3 ISO is online, right? I probably can test it and stuff. Welcome everyone, Detard. So another issue is, I noticed myself, you know what, we can actually do this live. Let's emerge bin utils to show you something interesting. Yeah, so this gives us a new version. Let's also missing only, not to rebuild, there are a handful of packages. I know already, because I had on my development external SSD here this latest version of bin utils. Whatever. Close to having an PUBG here live on this live stream. With my own DOS code here, maybe we probably could clean this. So details previous video when we built with a Linux GCC native DOS executables, this fine little hacks that we use to write all the direct 3D stuff. And I noticed already when I wanted to build this the other week for the other videos, that with the latest bin utils they made a breaking change, as in some assembly of the assembler, some assembler stuff doesn't assemble as it's supposed to assemble anymore. So this will most likely, yeah, I saw it here already, so not making this stuff up, only live on this channel. Also we could actually make JA32 for 32 cores. So this is here, so yeah, 2020, and this is so hilarious. This is like, yeah, I should so finish my own just-in-time compiler. So yeah, thank you very much, bin utils folks. You broke my fine little assembly stuff. I wonder how many real operating systems this affects, like generating 32-bit push pop. So yeah, effectively breaking this code. I have no idea why they've done it. They certainly must have a super amazing reason, but it's my life. Not only glibc, Linux kernel, glibc, Spark, MIPS, you name it, you update something and half of the stuff is broken. So yeah, also previous video, Spark 64 is also currently broken on glibc. So maybe this is why grub2 is broken. I have no idea. One thing for sure is that, actually I could probably show you that, right? QMS system, did I... So yeah, this is the reason why I didn't publish the latest ISO, because it doesn't even freaking build in QEMU. In user source T2 clean, that would be x86. So the last time I tried this with KVM anyway. So yeah, error disk HD96 not found, nah, whatever. I'm pretty sure this worked previously, so I have no idea how this got broken. But some kind of update recently. Maybe it's the bin utils, maybe it's not. Anyway, I've not yet debugged this, but yeah, fun little stuff. Mr. Bonk. Breaking probably implies explode, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, let's sort out the SourceForge thing there, grep. Let's see what I have the usual in there. Not doing this on a recurring basis. So actually, this doesn't have SourceForge in there. So this just has project name project. Do we have something newer of Xclip? Yeah, so that does not include SourceForge. Let's try that again. But yeah, super time consuming. So what I know for sure is that already version 1.4 broke all of this stuff. So we will most likely have something of that sort. I guess, right, also this, certainly I saw already. So either maybe use exit. Let's try that again. Hey, that downloaded, amazing. So yeah, most likely this will break something. So we can of course just test build this here, reference job 5 libpng. But yeah, maybe we could try. Also, by the way, the grub stuff, totally not nice to debug, right? This is, if you're not a grub developer and don't have your daily grub development set up, then yeah, this will easily spend an hour or 2 or 3 or an afternoon. Or, yeah, also some outdated patch, obviously from a decade ago. Anyway, but with all this YouTube stuff here and ramping up patches and interest in the community, certainly we have T2 in latest and greatest up-to-date shape here again in no time. Dtard is messing around with IPFS, pretty good concept, would work very well to store your packages as well as keep older packages around. What is IPFS? Probably IPFS, whatever. So yeah, libpng. So this builds, it built already. I updated this already in very, very long SVN log package libpng. Let's, or maybe we are lucky and yeah, here, so already like a decade ago, we should stick with 1.2. Yeah, whatever. Also, why it wasn't even me, not it. So there's, you have another proof. T2 is not an unsuccessful Woman distribution. Not a decade ago. Also, the Debian people like to call me like this because, yeah, whatever, they are special elite snowflakes. At least some of them. Probably not all. Maybe probably 99% of the. Probably I'm too harsh. I shouldn't say that. Probably 99% of the Debian people are fine folks. Just like, anyway, some special strange folks among each and every developer out there. Anyway, so we could, we probably should mine RF this inbuilt reference in libpng terms. So this deletes this in the sandbox because because otherwise I would have had the other library and potentially other headers. So the best test is to wipe it, not to have any stray outdated headers and libraries lingering around there, because we could, for a quick test, build here xcursor-gen. This of course is a decade old, when this was the latest and greatest transparent alpha blending cursors, because as seen on all my previous videos with low level stuff, hey, this builds, or so maybe they fixed something, or I have some strange stray files in there. So yeah, this was also lib, or actually in xcursor-gen in the meantime they added support for newer libpng versions. The other was, what was it, let's maybe commit this, pretend to commit. So the other was libgd. Let's try to build power the distributed web. What is it? Interplanetary file system. Ah, interesting. You're saying that. Let's test build the other one. That was was it libgd or? Nah. So much to attention lifespan of libgd. Did I? No, didn't. Libgd. Would be very store your packages, keep older versions around. So distributed web peer-to-peer hypermedia protocol. You're talking about that or something else? Anyway, are you using any distributed file system? I actually need some distributed file system. I've not yet tried all of them out, like Gluster and whatnot. By the way, looks like this is something broken because obviously build libgd, so not that reference pack or adm 5 libgd. It could also be broken before. By the way, do we have 2 of those, or oh no, this is just also. So what is it? PNG, so much to that, no such file directory, thank you very much. It could also be that that is not up to date, let's maybe check. But otherwise I probably don't care too much about libgd, to be honest. Let's see what libpng installed there. So that is include, this is in libpng. Actually we have this some compart symlinks. Oh, wait a second, it could be that this manually created compart symlinks are, yeah, so that is obviously link. So here that is obviously, yeah. So let's probably try that again, just for the completeness. So here it is, that's what dtart was looking for, access files or whatever you want through hashes, we'll download them, closest, most optimal, web-based means total something, download file, web-based. What has Mr. Bong 500 still working on his Sucks emulator? So yeah, so libpng, let's try this GD thing just for, not sure if that could build, maybe not. Maybe it's also not the latest version we can. I remember I once wanted to update it, it didn't build. Yeah, this also, doesn't. By the way, it does this. Hey, this recovered, amazing stuff. We could actually, maybe I don't do this here live on YouTube. So do we still build this? Let's see if this builds. So at least some compatibility stuff, yeah, so some compatibility stuff fixed since then. Hey, this also builds, so someone fixes this. So then commits this a decade late. Probably let's mark the security because most likely something, right? So at least this is done. Then I actually continued the other day after our XFCE live stream, a couple of hours, another day, some more cross-compile stuff done. Although I have the feeling some of this XFCE stuff also not the most maintained. Actually, we could theoretically, there is 2 things, or maybe to give some insight. Yeah, also people write you like Qt doesn't build, maybe, well, for me, a Qt5 build, also some other live stream, even live here, but yeah, I know your pain. This stuff is a pain to keep up to date, and here he sends GNU-TLS. Live as a distribution maintainer. Sorry, bless myself. That's in the notes already earlier. Only live on this channel in this day and age. Let's maybe, so this is why I actually prefer people to send this inline, but we're not like Linus Torvalds or something. So also this is, by the way, manually edited. Theoretically, you could copy, like build it and copy the cache file, because if you copy it, it updates the date here, because but certainly. So someone edited this manually. For GNU-TLS, point taken. I mostly, otherwise I could just send like, maybe send the whole cache, but whatever. Which, did I build this locally recently? But you know what, let's just manually insert it here, because so what this does, the cache files usually they are auto-generated in T2, as seen here on previous videos. It's only used right now mostly for manually emerging. So if you on your PS3 or stuff emerge it, then it would know that it needs GNU-TLS. Theoretically, since a decade I also want to change already the static priority-based scheduling here, but haven't done yet. But I've not done yet because, yeah, whatever, the static priority works well enough. And yeah, if I touch this, it's only a massive work. And it builds right now, and it's only massive amounts of work to keep everything building. So yeah. Oh, wait a second. Darn. I think I committed something earlier as stator. What was it? SVN opt. It's the downside of sharing your workstation with a bot. Yeah, of course. 1 second. Yeah, but so theoretically, yeah, I'll reply probably to that later anyway. That's it mostly for that. So the sad thing is I probably should wipe again, most likely, the whole x86 build. Theoretically, we could try to Google this grub error, or I have here, by the way, some AFI, not really sure if that, what is all this? Not really sure if that worked. Actually, we could test it. Let's quickly test it if this with this AFI BIOS with this UEFI shell, used it a long time ago like that. Does this work or not? At least it does something. Well, at least it's AFI. Let's try. Do I have I could download my own ISO, because this should be hybrid. And well, I think so. This is UEFI, so something is broken there. I think probably this ISO should be correct, because otherwise this Tiano Core EFI firmware stuff should not even boot to grub. So whatever is broken with this thing, it errors out similarly to classic BIOS and UEFI, which, yeah, fun regressions, right? We have here one small little change though, which is not that. I'm this one here, and theoretically we could revert this. This was just not really sure, that probably shouldn't affect it, but we could. Wait a second, it's also the wrong build. Let's see, comments in the audience. What else did I miss? Linux Mint, best option for beginner Linux. What? Someone writes, noob here. Linux Mint, the best option for beginner Linux. User shifting over from Windows. I have no idea. Maybe. Mr. Bong says binutils compiled with TCC without any errors. Yeah, well, binutils also compiled for me. Just the resulting binutils is so resulting binutils works differently, unrelated to no ISO in the create ISO. So yeah, I mean, compiling binutils it's not an issue, just that binutils itself broke some stuff, so I'm like breaking my own code. Mint is quite friendly. Thanks, Dieter, for answering. Yeah. So we could, of course, run like, let's see, can disk, what is it, disk type. As there was, by the way, also some ISO dumping thing. I probably need to look this up from the mailing list, but maybe this could already, here, this disk type stuff gives us already some info. about this. So it has a partition map, ISO image, XFCE. Well, so the problem is it could be so many things. I didn't really change so much, so it could be XFCE there, could be bin-utils, because but I'm pretty sure this booted recently. So, I mean, we could theoretically give this a quick try to, I mean, given it breaks my own code, well, not the largest, but something. So how you would do that is, so this update is that is relatively recent, could be not. So in subversion land you would merge, like reverse merge that with negative reversion of that here. That works. Then we could manually install it here, like job, if this was a native build, like bin-utils, rebuild bin-utils and grub2 and regenerate this and see if this fixes the thing. Detailed says it doesn't have the module to talk to the disk controller. I'm going to say probably here, but really doesn't matter much. Modern machines are very fast. Notice very little difference. Probably something looks resource heavy. Yeah, so Detailed is totally right. It's not unpopular here, but on such a machine you certainly notice very well. The biggest thing you notice if you don't have a working graphic driver, so that you certainly, if it's like 99% slower because you have software rendering on an NVIDIA frame or something, then you certainly notice that, but otherwise, yeah. I certainly, on this powerful, so we are rocking this on a previous build video here of AMD EPIC Threadripping Ryzen 3950X, 16 cores, 32 threads, and I'm mostly using this grub2 here, not for the resource usage on this machine, although certainly in other videos, wasting all the precious GPU cycles on a retro cool terminal, which I only stopped using, although it certainly looks better. But some people complained that the live stream wasn't as readable. Hey, 0 drop frames, amazing stuff, exceptionally. But so only using this because I just have, because first of all, yeah, same environment. Why should I use something on a transmitter Crusoe or a SG Octane or PS3 when use the same stuff all over? So the nice thing of this black box, which I might replace soon, time will show, replaces. So first of all, this black box stuff works for me, but you don't even see it here much. Mostly two complaints, which have actually both to do with X-Render multi-display support, especially for those live streams, that the key binding stuff is not integrated, and then the BB key, black box key binding stuff is not multi-display aware, and my hard-coded stuff doesn't work as well when I'm live streaming with multiple displays in terms of when I work with one display. And the other thing is also maximizing this here, like Firefox, for example, especially mostly for this live streaming. If I maximize this, then yeah, this is over 2 displays, so yeah, anyway. And in general, yeah. But probably sometimes when we will continue our own 3D code. So probably sometime soon I will port this GLX gear. So probably I will probably write a 3D stack, continue writing them from scratch, importing this GLX gears to writing a mini OpenGL stack from scratch, because why not, for our low-level OS-less and soon microkernel environment. And probably I write it on Windows servers in any way for microkernel and low-level stuff. So something of that sort. And maybe theoretically, I said it before, maybe I should actually get a new display. People say, hey, why do I use this old displays? It's actually my phased out displays on my main disk, which I usually actually fun fact, usually don't show here, Dell 4K display for my main commercial work all day long. This is actually our test lab setup here for testing random stuff and YouTube live streaming. And yeah, so phased out displays, and yeah, you see you can still get productive work done on this. But probably, so my fun fact, even my main display 4K, previous videos, on some videos it is visible, Dell Ultra Sharp, whatever, 24-inch, whatever, something. Even that is getting old, 6 years or something, and counting, maybe soon 7. And probably it's time for a new display, and probably freezing. Fun fact, I actually don't have a freezing display here. So maybe it would be a fun project also, not only, well, the problem is modern hardware is so complex, it would be a really fun project to do not only low-level, bare metal, OS-less AMD GPU code, which super complex, not the most amazing. Yeah, this is also, I'm getting certainly frustrated with modern hardware. Peak bugs and features and code bloat. Also display, I think for the AMD stuff they imported 100,000 lines of code of their shared Windows code driver base with this display like AMD display controller stuff. Not the most amazing, and certainly not fun to, maybe not even documentation specification published, so certainly not fun to peel out the most minimal registers needed for programming mode setting on latest AMD GPU with the super complex display controller stuff, and then doing freezing with that. But otherwise it would be fun, and maybe something more production usable. I think, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, probably still not a composition manager with freezing support, but maybe if there's someone in the meantime in the last weeks or months, leave me in the comments below. But otherwise it might be, well, fun project. So yeah, so the spin utils didn't fix a thing here, unfortunately. Let's try this with non-EFI. And yeah, so let's take a look. I'm 100% sure this worked before, so this regression is really strange. Boot, so actually this boot code is, oh wait a second, maybe in simply straight included from here. What modules do we include? So we actually do here grub MK image platform stuff of this ISO FAT and part MS-DOS, and so this looks recent. Is there some error we see scrolling by? So yeah, I'm pretty sure this worked before. I'm very, I'm 99.9% sure we published a working ISO some months ago. Certainly could download this. Let's see, do we have any? The problem is, of course, with all the status output, it's like, yeah, DD or something, or compressed stuff. Maybe it's too verbose to actually see errors scrolling by. But yeah, really annoying always to hunt these regressions. You do all this code and testing and stuff, and then 1 month later, some stupid little detail doesn't work anymore. So I didn't see here any kind of issues. Maybe we could like do here set X and trace that here with shell tracing stuff. So we have here more comments. Let's take a look. New people, welcome everyone. Do you do this as a hobby or job or something else? Well, over a decade ago I tried to commercialize this for embedded Linux. Total pain too, so I do this for my new, my secondary YouTube channel job. But honestly, I'm not impressed with the the other major Linux distributions are hiding all too much stuff, so I'm certainly running this commercially. But truth be told, I'm actually not the most motivated to wait a second, we have here grub2. So yeah, I'm probably not trying to commercialize this Linux stuff because there's just so much competition. Even a decade ago, even when I was a student, I barely won any embedded Linux projects, and that even with dumping prices in 2005, it's so frustrating. You do all the stuff day and night, all day long, and for free, like contributing all the stuff, like cross-compiling. Back in the day, Rock Linux, then T2. Get all the stuff compiling, working, MIPS, ARM and stuff, and then you don't even win projects like, you know, PowerPC and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, this is YouTube, our $3 a day AdSense revenue, sponsoring this. Of course, of course we see increasing subscribers, so, and the last people getting here, keeping your Octane and P3 working. But I will probably, the question is of course, so what I would probably, so given that I would not want to use any other distribution because yeah, we have seen this previous videos, Gen 2 patch management not impressed, major distributions, all this. The point is, even just running this for me, I would not want to run any other distribution in not knowing what I install there. Of course but this is of course quite some disconnect, right? If you take some distribution, you're not a contributor, you're not a developer, you run 99, you run 100% code, you have no idea how it's built together. So yeah, but the better answer, the better question is, also there are already 1010 Linux distributions, so even if it's the most cross-compiling or the most clean, well, you might play along at home with the P3 Octane, but otherwise, yeah, the question is more, can we commercialize a microkernel? That is actually the better question because after 20 years with Linux, although I run my own Linux distribution, not so impressed anymore, but yeah. The Graver compiling GCC with something, LTO with what? Compile, what? Isn't XR&R, anyway, pronunciation. Then. If you never talk about this, you never know how you pronounce it. Anyway, we have here grub, and grub2 is here simply this stuff set to the wrong bootloader or what? Theoretically, maybe something. We have here grub2, so maybe we have just configured this wrong with all the manual. But yeah, on Linux after, because of course I'm much more, but so we have here grub2 is a valid choice. So this is at least correct. What have we? Grub. We have just here else actually, so this is actually correct for that scrolling by, so much double checking that. So what have we done here? We have if grubs and nothing, what? Why is here no else case, else grub2? Alright, this is only, what a fail. This is only defining this function, it obviously doesn't run it directly, but at least we confirm that this is working as it should. If true, then that if, so we always run this. Does this make sense? And wait a second, so this is grub boot something, this is only, oh wait a second, this is only filling this. This is also not the right thing we want to monitor, we actually want to monitor this here though. But yeah, with Linux, I also But yes, this is certainly a very unpopular opinion. As Detard said, very unpopular opinion. Status of desktop Linux, and yeah, status of desktop Linux not the most, but in general also the state of Linux with everything written in C. And do we have copy here some files in there? Probably all the codes that was there before already. Mr. Bong wants to try to make GCC compile as fast as TCC? What the heck? Yeah, super strange regression. As we didn't change something, of course this doesn't still doesn't work. I slightly wonder. Grub second if you build. Well, actually, we accidentally, due to stray autoconf reconfiguration due to autogen, fixed stray grub second if you rebuild and unified arch quirks in case block. Sorry guys. Let's so by the way, okay, we have reimmersed. So the good thing is, I mean, there you see how my working copy usually became rather full with changes, although this is a cleaner one, or even the cleaner one already still some stray stuff that is not really commit quality accumulated. Let's reverse merge that and see if that fixes a thing. I really hate this. This is also a new... I shouldn't... Darn. Fuck. This is so super annoying. Darn it. This is... This is really a stupid regression also. Now it modified here some merge stuff that I didn't ask for. It's probably all this here, isn't it? What a waste of... Yeah, Subversion for decades, Subversion never did this. I mean, they added fancy features, and all those fancy features hamper my production. Yeah, here deleted merge info, shit. Can't mix this stuff up. Probably what that. So here, lesson learned. I mean, this is also why I already SVN up. Usually I thought this happens when there were mixed revisions. But whatever, let's just... By the way, did we merge this? Okay, we apparently merged this anyway, despite this garbage. So let's rebuild that another time. Let's see if this stray changes. Fixes. Yeah, thanks for the blessings. Let's get some more water. So before this random, also yeah, lesson. Usually I try to not randomly change too much together. But so what this mostly is, this war here, like this disk clean stuff, this was actually, yeah, this didn't clean enough and somehow, alright, so this was actually, this was a really tricky, this actually also I should have nearly live streamed. There's a problem, of course, with this random stuff, it's super boring. I was probably honestly spending an hour just on this stupid grub regression, which also we only need this because we only need this because we built previous live streams. I never was a fan of shipping like 2 build artifact variants in one package. We do this only for people crying for this EFI ISO. So there you see, we make this EFI ISO dual buildable, then we partially, well, it's somewhat built, but was a little bit partially, especially during this mostly broke due to not having a disk clean. So this had some cache stuff because this clean that we previously had that didn't wipe enough, and surprisingly it even built natively randomly, but for a cross build it failed. As you see, it even before this build it even built only for cross building it. I noticed like bootstrapping T2 cross building as much as possible. Cross build failed. This super strange. This was what was it even? It was like caching. All right, I think it was even like symbols, like duplicated symbols or symbols missing of something, because this was with leading underscores or dots of the detecting assembler or C function naming stuff. Took me an hour to find totally annoying stuff to debug, and at the end it was like only because of actually it's a configure bug, because as usual I don't fix other people's configures. So it took 1 hour to find out why this build was only in cross builds failing, really strangely with undefined, unresolved duplicate symbol stuff of leading underscores or something, double underscores, hilarious stuff. Just testament of keeping open source stuff building, and then the recurring theme of people asking, do I do this professionally? Well, I tried. Fun fact, I said this before, I founded Exact Code. Don't delay, try paperless Office, Exact Scan and OCR, PDF recompression stuff today. The stuff that people actually spend money on, because on embedded Linux and Linux and embedded Linux and open source work, people are like, this open source stuff needs to work, and we can't use your open source stuff if it doesn't work, and we also don't pay you for this because it obviously needs to work if it's not good enough to just work. And it's hilarious. Chicken egg stuff, and hilarious in my opinion. Recurring theme of, anyway. But spreads the world also, probably the only, the fun fact is what I found, those people like myself, but also certainly others, they have Debian and Gentoo stuff, those people who do a lot of this bootleg work of open source code and enablement, fixing this and keeping it working, they have very little, next to no income with all of this, sitting there all day and night, weekend, in their basement and bunker, and nobody pays for this. And the people who make the most money are like IBM, Google, Apple, even Apple, right? Using all this open source stuff in iOS, but also Facebook, Amazon, AWS, which also why I refuse to use any Amazon AWS services and stuff. Rather have my own, with all the consequences of maintaining our own server stuff, but certainly not giving Apple, Google, Facebook any. So definitely not Facebook, and not Facebook. Fun fact: Facebook has certainly got 0 cents from me. Not even using their shit much, but similar to Amazon, the most, not a single cent to compute stuff. Wouldn't promote and stuff. Use your own small business stuff, local companies, and build your own server farms and stuff. Anyway, due to that reason, I try to vote with my money and not give any of those. Giving Amazon money to run infrastructure based on the open source stuff I've done for 20 years now. No thanks. Anyway, so let's. What was the last command? So the last command was that. Let's see if that fixes the ISO, and this still doesn't work. This is hilarious. Did we rebuild everything? What was the last commands? Build target, build ISO. So at least this cleanups didn't unbreak that. This is hilarious. Maybe we should actually mount the ISO and take a look what is inside there. But so debugging this super long process. What do we have here? The problem is, of course, also we have here boot. Do we have boot? Grub. We have here actually files inside there. Really strange. Means the files are in there. This doesn't look the worst. Of course, this is a multi-file system ISO. This high fun modern hybrid stuff, like totally bloated off ISO with DOS MBR partition stuff. Mind blown, right? Hey, by the way, this is old-fashioned stuff. Maybe we want to sort in this. Actually, it's a little bit long there of publisher stuff, to be honest. While we could actually theoretically make this a little bit less bloated, because the new URL is SDE. And you know what? Let's make this lean and theoretically maybe make this just T2 SDE. Is this cooler? Actually, we have SDE already there. Okay, let's undo this and let's keep this environment in there. Oops. It's not my typing day. We have this already abbreviated there. Let's keep the long version in there, but let's shorten this a little bit. I only quit VI not to retype all this long stuff. So let's see, T2 system development environment, HTTP T2 SD. That probably looks like it doesn't have a typo, which we certainly could check. That works. Yeah, let's commit this already. That probably should work. Not the best practice to commit stuff while we still debug an issue, but I think I reset the subversion, yeah. Yeah, super bizarre that this doesn't work. Well, theoretically, it could still this MK image stuff. Let's rebuild this toolchain stage of grub2. Running out of ideas here. So the next thing would be downloading the last working ISO. I'm pretty sure the last one eventually did work. But yeah, recurring theme. As often as we encounter randomly broken stuff, I probably next really need some weekly ISO generator that's totally automated on some virtual machine, spitting this out on a weekly basis, so that we have references in weeks time, like 52 times a year, much more gradual snapshots of getting a notification when stuff is broken. Because of this, like a month, like YOLO, whatever. It's you live stream this here day and night live on YouTube and think you only fix stuff, improve stuff, and at the end of the day stuff is broken. So yeah, totally not the best. In the meantime, we accumulated a couple of dropped frames, a DOCSIS cable status of 1300, in the meantime 1.3%. Welcome everyone here. Thomas, did I miss something? What did I miss? Is the documentation available where the it's documentation available where the build system works? There is something on the website indeed. I didn't touch the documentation much for a decade because, long story short, right? But here is quite some documentation, and as other people on the mailing list started to read it already, probably I should update this after 2007 actually. But it's not the worst, I would say. I mean, for a non recurring joke here, for a unsuccessful non-1-man distribution, actually probably surprisingly decent documentation, maybe, although not touched for nearly over a decade. But because we didn't breaking change too much, it's still relatively up to date. But yeah. T2 minimal something. Something anyway. So rebuild that. Rebuild the ISO. Let's see. Probably it's also time to but there you see you can do so much interesting things like continuing your microkernel, your from scratch 3D system, and so there you check why the freaking heck this stuff doesn't work. Okay, it was also not that. This is so hilarious. What is really strange is that both of them do not work. So grub2 image, boot grub, user something, grub2. I mean, it's complaining about nothing. We have here ISO 9660 or 9600, how do you pronounce it in English? Funny names, right? ISO 9660, whatever. What else could it be? I mean, we have part MS-DOS, we have part GPT, we have FAT&X2 and this, and why? It's probably also newly rewritten. You know what? Let's download our own ISO. And so next would probably, so enable debugging stuff. Danny writes glibc 49. This is probably from the, so I mean the question actually really is when we generate, I think this one was at least loading, right? I mean, this is so let's see what kind of download. This probably results in some top frames. I might be bandwidth shaping that on the server, so how many minutes do we? 5 minutes left. Nah, might not sure if I'm still bandwidth shaping that off. T2 minimal something. Try to put it in legacy mode. Yeah, what else do we have to do? So we have theoretically some couple of more emails from the mailing list. But yes, there you see, which also after I should have, I never, fun fact, I didn't take YouTube that serious a decade ago. Fun fact, when the YouTube folks sold themselves there to Google over a decade ago, friends and mine, we were actually joking, so what overpriced stuff that was, this like copyright violating, Hollywood movie dumping YouTube stuff. In retrospect, it's a pity I didn't take it more seriously. If we would have live streamed already for a decade like I've done the last 2 years or so, probably would have had already nice audience here. But we are catching up here because yeah, after a decade, after 2 decades doing this kind of open source work here, becomes a little bit repetitive to myself, although nice to see that people learn something and share and like and subscribe it. I rather would sit here now and do 3D stuff on the via Chrome stuff there and write the GL. So by the way, fun fact, so that would yeah, and do the microkernel. So yeah, next I will probably I was thinking about this. I will most likely write a mini GL from scratch. I could copy and paste others, like Fabrice Bellard has an own tiny GL or something there of QEMU and FFmpeg creator fame. but I will probably, but I think even he might have copy and pasted some headers, so maybe I start completely from scratch to keep it really simple and not that people say, as usual, unsuccessful one-man copy and paste guy. Probably I write it completely from scratch because I have already part of this, like it's not too much magic anyway, some matrix multiplication stuff. So we have already this in this DOS code for the Virgin Voodoo. So probably I just take the OpenGL headers, because what this allows us is when we GLX source of somewhere like that, and because what allows us is take this code here, even here from Brian Paul of Mesa fame, and because right now my example code just works for the low-level example code, and it would be cool if we could take such examples like this. Maybe with minimal, I will probably for our own microkernel and low-level operating system stuff implement all of this stuff like timing functions here of this time and stuff. But it would be cool if we can take this here for 99% and test our our GL, our 3D code, like hardware code like that. And I was thinking whether to have another API, but yeah, that probably doesn't help much. So this means I would implement all those APIs like GL begin, GL vertex. Some of the stuff I have already a little bit like this, but implementing this all like API compatible, and then have a 3D middle layer, like driver layer, similar to Mesa or Windows, and have this spitting out a shared layer, spitting out that for colored and textured triangles, and reuse everything on the 3D low-level driver stuff. And of course we have all the other drivers. I will for sure over the next months or years do the same what I've done already for all the other cards, and do SES, because why not, 6,000 something via Chrome. Let's see if we maybe via Chrome I might do in the next weeks, and then ATI, Mach, Rage and Radeon, and yeah, still downloading, so much to probably traffic shaping. Anyway, the ISO is still there, soon there, then we test if this QEMU works, and probably something is broken there. So yeah, it probably makes sense to be able to port this stuff nicely, and eventually be able to run Doom and Quake on our own 3D stack. You see, it's not too complicated. So this is just creating lists here, GL begin of quad strips and stuff, and have this here then like GL end and shading, like control whether flat and smooth and stuff, and clearing this here, like clearing the color and depth buffer, and so yeah, not too much. I mean, most of the stuff like the matrix multiplication stuff I have already. Even some of this rotate stuff I have already. So this is mostly just adding a little bit of glue API layer, and debugging and testing it, and implementing all the controls, like controlling. Right now I have this hard coded, like controlling the clearing and controlling this smoothing or flat stuff, and yeah, this will be fun, certainly much more fun than debugging this grub. Now we have this downloaded. Let's see if this booted. I'm pretty sure that we live tested this even here on this channel. Let's see, this of T2, that, yeah, this freaking works. I mean, this is hilarious. So yeah, that worked, and this was just some weeks ago. This is hilarious. There you see how quickly this shit breaks. So this was okay. This was, and apparently was this already. Wait a second. We could, by the way, if not tested this recently. People say this init.rd was corrupted, and no, this boots. However, yeah, would have surprised me if so much to that. If I would not have at least tested this in QEMU. So yeah, that worked, and that is not too long ago. So, but bisecting this is error prone. I mean, probably I could manually copy these files over. We could like one thing, but then we probably go home because dinner and family and stuff. Disk type that X and disk type. Although this is only one thing, we can do another thing in a second. x86 CD stuff, ISO to Y, and then div X to Y. Okay, the publisher I just changed, that was very clever. But aside from that, okay, data size, no surprise there. It has here some, okay, data size, also not a surprise. El Torito, okay, this is a little bit later. This El Torito boot record of something being larger. But in general, this is the same partition layout and stuff. Maybe just here. So the next thing could be, it's also, by the way, so this is also created by the same Xorizo, names of modern naming stuff. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Really wondering why this can't really make this up. I mean, this starts later here, so maybe something broke because it's larger. Man, this is so frustrating. You work day, night, live stream day, night, and at the end of the day, stuff breaks. Danny says they're shaping your speed in catastrophic ways. No, I'm shaping my own. So I'm at one point upon a time I was traffic shaping this on the server. So I meant my own traffic, so that you guys playing along at home are not hampering some of our commercial services too much. This is why I might be shaping this myself. I meant to say. Yeah, Fabrice Belasov, also TCC fame. So yeah, what a frustrating thing. So we downdated bin utils. It wasn't that we reverted this GCC, this grub stuff. It wasn't that. Did we update grubs and then let's svn. So also we probably, okay, or we, let's not just revert that yet. Let's see, stray, what else? The last update was in cross-compile video modules, actually, but this is probably tested. So this was 119, that was probably, yeah, we needed that. I'm pretty sure this was tested for having video output. We might have updated, have we updated GCC since then? Did the compiler break this? Because not too many other ideas since then. I mean, okay, GCC was quite some stuff, including an update here. And I mean, wouldn't. Well, we also have a couple of other changes, so also some optimization, selection. I mean, very theoretically, the only problem is test building that even on an epic thread wrapping AMD Ryzen takes quite a while. Theoretically, we could, yeah, also probably lesson learned not to do that, not to have all this stupid merge. Do we have here also right now? Or what, did I download this already for some reason? Interesting. Maybe I downloaded this already for some test. All right. Was a Spark? Something was broken actually, indeed. Maybe that was, maybe they broke Spark here, Spark 64 or something. So much regression, you know, one compiler builds Spark 64, one compiler builds. It's x86, can't make this stuff up. Let's see, what have we right now in x86 here of no cross that GCC version. This is already downdated. So we rebuilt grub already with the downdated version. Darn. Yeah, so the issue is we can't even easily change this because the ISO is of course not easily writable. And that means debugging this is super annoying. Let's try this with EFI, and even the EFI thing works. Can't make this up. Compiler downdated, binutils downdated, GCC surrounding config downdated. Man, what a stupid regression. Anyway, probably I continue this off camera. Probably want to share, like, and subscribe to support me mentally with this stupid kind of regressions. Long story short, running your distribution is a time-consuming affair that very few people value, like its value actually might be. Leave in the comments below how much you value this alternative. And again, recurring theme here, not just one other random distribution. What I personally, a little bit biased certainly, because yeah, I'm with Rock Linux, of course. Recurring shout out here of Claire Wolf's Rock Linux fame, continuation of one of the few original distributions, because many other distributions based on Debian, certainly even Ubuntu and all the certainly 500 if not 1000 distributions based on just Debian, otherwise Red Hat and other distributions. So Rock Linux created in 1996ish or whatever that was. I think I looked it up another day. So 1996, over how many? Over 2 decades of stuff. I'm there very long. I joined there in 1997, something 1996, 1997. So 20 years with this distribution. At one point of time, I was stable release maintainer there in Rock Linux 2 fame. Only forked this because more commercial embedded stuff of not random changing changing breakage and regressions, and yeah, that. And yeah, also dedication. So there you see this, like Rock Linux, nobody, like after a couple of years, nobody continued there, because you see live on YouTube how much work it is to keep this updated, working, add new features, test all the architectures. Like, yeah, I've done that much work back then and still, and yeah. And anyway, that's it for the summary. And what I meant to say is that for me, this T2 with Rock Linux stuff, one of those original and very vanilla, right? As you see here, very few vendor, like no vendor patches, like, or nearly no vendor patches, no feature patches, no whatever random garbage patches. Super nicely sorted, built from source, raw like sushi. That's how we like it here. Vanilla upstream sources. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and probably want to play along at home on your P3 and Octane, and all the recurring reminder, all the stuff like previous live streams, XFCE, entertaining you here live on YouTube, other people solder, SMD resistors, we do bits and pieces here on source code stuff. All the stuff we do, well, except breaking stuff, which right now I don't even know what broke, right? So you update, you fix your stuff, and at the end of the day, something's broken with the ISO. No idea why and what. But in general, if we don't break stuff, we improve stuff also for the P3 and Octane and so on. Because like XFCE fixing cross-compiling or updating stuff, and like, yeah, libpng also updated for the next P3 builds, SGI builds. And next automating more, like spitting out ISOs in a weekly basis or something. The only drawback with this is even that is still time consuming, because as you see constantly stuff breaking, even with just the in the beginning of this live stream done libpng. This we might find famous lost words. We for sure will find next day or week a Firefox breaking or a GNOME breaking or something breaking for sure, or some other old abandonware breaking that we still keep around. But otherwise, yeah, there will always be something. So fully automating the ISOs is only one step. Like we will find, like we found the other months, latest GCC, latest glibc broken on Spark 64. Right now something broken for AMD 64, whatever it is. I've not even a clue yet. And the same goes for, I've not even shown on YouTube, I mentioned a Hewlett-Packard Precision Architecture, something also wrong there. So either the kernel boots but has strange module outputs and doesn't, I think it doesn't even, it has so many duplicate symbol, whatever, module, whatever. I think it's not even fully booting there on the ISO. But yeah, stuff to come, weekly builds, better network boot infrastructure so that I can just plug in here something and have it network boot. Of course we have network booting, but even more professionalizing there to have any architecture netboot ready here in our office in terms of Intenio and Alpha and Spark MIPS and stuff, and network boots with P3 and so on. But also then microkernel and more 3D stuff. Now I need to go for dinner. Thanks for yeah, tuning in for this fun stuff. If you have any tips why this might be broken, how to debug this best, of course you could instrument grub. Not sure if they have some debug verbose stuff, but otherwise. But yeah, super time consuming to narrow this down. Even either way you do it, even if you would like bisect, even like bisecting here with T2, not very easy, because if you do like really truly bisect of go back some revisions and rebuild everything, then even just rebuilding the whole distribution takes, even on a epic thread ripping AMD Ryzen 3950X, it takes, like previously seen here, easily 2 if not 3 hours, depend. Even probably you want to build a minimal target without all the XOC stuff, but yeah. Anyway, I will continue. I will probably do this at home with some wine or something there from the living room. As soon as I found out what's broken here, I'll keep you updated and post a video or live stream and stuff, publish a new ISO. But yeah, have a good night then, or day. Hope to see you soon for the next videos and live streams to come next.